Welcome to the show, everybody. Isn't this a special occasion? You're looking at me, Brendan Fitzgerald. You're looking at the All-American Chris Weidman for a show that's yet to be named, yet to be fully committed to, but we've become fast friends, so we said let's hop on and have a conversation and catch up and let the world hear it. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Yes, we shall see where this goes, but yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's us. We're good buddies, and you know we like to talk about the fights. It's good for us to do. It's kind of what we're doing for a living now. So
yeah,
it's good. This is good. Let's do it.
So, yeah, like you want reps in terms of media. You have dove into the media space head first, and I was just talking to your manager, and it was just like this was unexpected for you. You weren't chasing this down like some others might be like, man, it would be great if I could do TV afterwards, and you didn't really have an idea. And now, Christopher Weidman, you are a media darling. Do you know that?
It is weird. You're right. I did not chase it down.
You are sought after.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
How did that happen, Chris?
I don't know. I really don't know. I took some opportunities on things just because I like to take advantage of opportunities. I don't like opportunities going away and having a regret.
Yeah.
So I was asked to do the weigh-in show once as a guest, which they typically have, guests in on every weigh-in show. And
right.
They liked me after the first one. They were like, "We'd love for you to be a regular." But it was still like at that point, it was still like here and there. I would say no to some of them because I had stuff with kids and whatever. I was training. And then I would say yes, a lot of other times. And then eventually he, Zach, the head guy, was the head producer. He said, we'd love to make you a permanent guy on the weigh-in show. And we'd love to, have you start doing desk work as well. And I was like, I guess I'll do it. I don't know. Cause I had bad experience. So back in the Fox days of the UFC, this is when I was champion. So a long time ago, this is like 2013, 14-ish.
Right.
They had asked me to do a desk show out in California for Fox. And I did a couple shows, and it was very different for me. I like to be just genuine, talk off the cuff. I make mistakes. I am not going to be perfect. I can never even dream of being like a perfect orator. I don't have that. Like you, Anik, Helly, you guys have these dreams and you guys could actually nail it. It's unbelievable to me. I am going to flub on words no matter how hard I try. So anyway, I'm better like just organic conversations. And so the desk work, when I did it back in 2013, 14, after one of the shows, I didn't think I did good. I never think I do good. But after one of the shows, one of the producers sent me the transcript of the whole show, everything I said, redlined. You should have said this for this. You should have done this better.
That seems like a bad producer, by the way.
The and the okays, whatever things I did to fill up space, nailed it. Like just got on me on everything, and I'm like, this is not for me. Like it's not me walking to the gym and training MMA. I'm very comfortable doing that. I still get nervous doing that because I have high expectations of myself, and so going to the TV world, it's new, it's nerve-wracking, it's uncomfortable. The 70% of myself doesn't want to be there. Right. And then I'm getting criticized like that. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm good. And as we fast forward, I was world champion, and my fame and relevancy within the MMA game has just slowly trickled down. And I was kind of okay with it. And I was okay with kind of just slowly dying out in the MMA world and starting my own life in South Carolina, maybe starting a couple businesses or whatever, trying to make money that way and not be in the limelight. So I was kind of cool with that. But these opportunities came, and here we are. Now I'm doing a bunch of things with the UFC, and I'm enjoying it now. I'm having a great time. It's worked out. They let me be myself, which is great, and I'm having fun doing it. So I'm gonna keep taking the opportunities, and we'll see what happens.
It's a hell of a lot of fun, isn't it? Travel
is
around the world, you just get to talk to fights and whatever. It sounds easier than it is, as you've kind of like come to discover. But once you unlock the door and you step through into like where you feel like you know what you're doing, it's amazing. Like, it's an amazing way to
I'm still not
make
there,
a few bucks.
Brendan. I'm still not
Well,
there.
you're walking through the door. You're doing enough where you're, like I said, you're sought after, right? Like, we're keeping you around. Paramount's interested in, like, and then so much so that I was like, doing a podcast with Weidman would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Let me text you and see. That's where we got. What should we call this show, Chris? What should we call this little experiment? I mean, I just hit you up with the Fitz and Weidman Show.
The MMA experiment.
The Fitz and Weidman experiment.
I like it. The Fitz and Weidman.
I pitched Fitz and Weidman Show, and I was wondering if you would be mad at me for putting Fitz first.
No, I don't.
Or should it be the Weidman and Fitz Show?
No, I don't care either way. Any direction is good. Whatever catches the ear and people like better. I don't know. Maybe we could ask the fans.
Here's the other thing.
We could just ask ChatGPT.
We could ask Chat. I did that already. Okay. I did that already. And it came up with some, generic ones or whatever.
Sometimes they're not great.
The one thought I had, too, was like, I think we're talking about 5 things. I think I jotted down 5 topics to cover today.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what if it's 5 rounds with Fitz and Weidman? And we have, like, a little discussion on 5 different things.
Has that been around?
Probably. Probably.
We'll just have to steal the name.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Let's talk a little fights, though.
Oh,
where
let's do it.
The BMF is now Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
After 5 rounds of grappling, after 20-plus minutes of ground control time, Charles Oliveira is the BMF. You were there. What did you think on a Monday after we saw the belt change hands in that fashion?
All right. So to be honest, I did not think it is. I didn't think of it as boring as what people at home are saying. Because I was really blown away with how dominant Charles Oliveira was against a guy like Max Holloway. Because now people are going to say Max Holloway's not that good, because that's what happens anytime somebody loses. But Max Holloway's never been taken down and controlled that way in his career.
Right.
And he was trying his best. And Charles Oliveira was able to just make it look like he has no takedown defense at all, completely crush him. And the reason why it was boring also in people's eyes is because there was no finish, but that's also a testament to Max Holloway's jiu-jitsu, because Charles Oliveira, man, he's got the most finishes in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
At least I think ever, at most finishes ever.
Most finishes in the UFC history.
So the guy's
most submissions in UFC history. Like, that's his bread and butter, right?
He's a finisher. The guy's not going there to lay on top of somebody. He is so dangerous on top, and he was on top of it for 20 minutes, and Max Holloway did a good job of not getting submitted. If there was a couple times I thought he was going to be able to stop him. There was a couple moments where he had him really locked down in like a mount position and was throwing down some elbows, and Max just took a couple really hard elbows and he fought his way through it and got to a better position. But man, a couple rear naked chokes and head and arms and stuff. But I thought Max. I thought Max was going to win the fight. I thought his footwork was going to be too good. I thought his boxing is just better. He's faster. So I thought he would really just startle him on the feet, and I thought his takedown defense is awesome. So Charles was going to have trouble taking him down.
Yeah, nobody has been able to neutralize Max like that in grappling. And so same thing. I was just like, well, if it comes down to footwork and the fight's going to be on the feet, which Max usually keeps the fight on the feet, then Max might be too much. But the opposite happened.
Look what just happened with the Strickland Fluffy fight. I didn't see that coming either. Strickland, I knew, has pretty good takedown defense, could get back up to his feet pretty easily.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of guys, he's very experienced. I thought he would be able to stop some of the takedowns, but I thought eventually it would be just too much. He'd be getting taken down and ragged out by Fluffy. But obviously I was wrong, because what did he do when his back was towards the cage? Strickland is not known for his footwork. He's terrible. Like, he kind of just plots forward. He's very lethargic with his footwork, for lack of a better term. But as soon as his back was anywhere near that warning track, he actually used great lateral footwork to get his way his back off the cage.
Right.
So if Strickland could do it, you would think Max Holloway could do it. And that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and the fact that he gave his back, because in the first round, I think those were the most uneasy moments for Max, where it was like, I was like, he did a good job. The first scramble, he didn't give his back. He was like about to, and then he turned towards him. And I'm watching the fight with my wife, and I'm like kind of like talking her through. I was just like, he just can't give his back. Because if you give your back, it's over. Ask Gaethje, ask Poirier, whatever.
Yes.
And then he did, and he was still able to fight through it.
And the other thing in the back of my mind was, okay, listen, he got taken down. He got dominated the first round. Same thing the second round. But what's going to happen in the third round? Is he going to have that energy? Because we've seen Charles fade in the past, and Max just gets better and better. So I expected at some point Max was going to stop 1 or 2 takedowns, right? Then Charles is stuck on his feet, and he's getting picked apart by Max, And Charles really showed no ounce of being tired. Zero.
He did the same thing to Michael Chandler a couple of years ago, or when was it? Madison Square Garden. I guess it wasn't last November; it was the year before, where he just controlled.
He finished him too, right in the third.
No, that went all 5. All 5. Remember in the 5th
right?
round when Chandler was slamming him on his back and getting up and whatever, and Charles just backpacked him.
Yeah.
What did Charles say to you afterwards? Because you hosted the podcast with Mackenzie and Helly. What was it? It's called After Last Fight? About Last Fight? About Last Fight.
Yes.
What did Charles say to you guys that stuck out?
It wasn't really what he said. It's what I gathered about his mindset. He's got a championship mindset. Because what I asked him was everyone. I mean, he was a huge betting underdog, and a lot of fighters, me included, analysts, the footwork, the speed, the boxing, the takedown defense, the experience of Max Holloway was going to be too much. And I asked him, how did that play in his head going to that fight? Did you agree? This is going to be tough? Or did you just think these guys have it wrong? They have no idea. They forget how good I really am, And he just said that he doesn't really pay attention, to any of that stuff. He just stays in the gym. He just keeps training. He can't wait. He couldn't wait to get back home and start training again. And which leads me to probably with the next topic. So I'm probably going ahead a little bit.
Go ahead.
The BMF, what does the BMF mean? And the problem is we have two champions in the BMF. When you have two champions in the BMF, it's a different mindset than when you have a Jorge Masvidal, no disrespect, or a Nate Diaz fighting. Those guys aren't championship level guys.
Got it. Guys, Masvidal and Diaz never won a UFC championship.
No.
But Charles and Max have held gold, so you're saying it's different because of that.
I think they're not the guys who are just going to be standing and banging, for 5 rounds and I take one, you take one. They're tough as hell. They're going to bring it every fight, like we know they do. But they're also going to always find the way to win, the best way to win. And for this one, ended up being in a lot of people's eyes boring because Charles Oliveira figured out that he was just so much more dominant in that clinch position, really.
Right.
He knew he was going to be dominant on the floor, but I think the question probably in his head, was I going to be able to get him to the floor? If not, I have to be able to stand with Max, and try to hurt him on the feet. But once he locked his hands on that first clinch, I think he knew, this is the answer. This is where I have him.
That's an interesting perspective, that when champions fight for the BMF, it's different. And you know what? You're right. Everyone remembers Holloway knocking out Gaethje with 1 second left. They don't remember the 24 minutes before that, the 24 minutes and 50 seconds before that, right? That was Max on the outside. Go ahead. What do you need?
I have a note under my door that says "need key."
Hey,
at the bottom. I see a finger. Under. Hang on 1 second.
Go ahead.
I wish I could film this. I got a note under my door.
This is podcasting from home. This is
100%. We don't get this in studio.
I'm a ticking time bomb for when that door opens and my 3-year-old pokes his head in.
My 13-year-old just came home from school sick, so I went and got him. I'm about to be home, then I got the call, go pick up CJ. They go to the same school. Pick him up. I come home. I'm on here with you. My wife just got a call from the school again. My 10-year-old has a headache.
Oh, my God.
In my head, I think he found out his older brother went home from school sick, and now
that
he
had
needs
to
be
been
sick.
That had to have been what happened, right?
Someone probably asked him, hey, is your brother okay? And he's like, what's wrong with him? He just left school. I have a headache, too. That's exactly
I
what
think
happened.
Something's going around.
I don't trust any of it.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but we were talking so eloquently.
We were in a serious discussion, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was talking about how, you're right when the BMF belt has been fought between champions or people that have fought for gold or have held gold, it's been a different fight.
Yeah.
It's been a different fight. There's different attitudes. There's different mindsets, and they do the best thing to win.
Because,
and that's what we saw just in the same way that Max won his BMF belt. He didn't take stupid chances against Poirier. He didn't take stupid chances against Gaethje until the final 10 seconds.
Yes.
And and he had the moment. And against Poirier, there was some back and forth. Like, that was a good fight, especially at certain points. Max mostly controlled it.
Strikers.
To your point, that's true. When it was Masvidal and Diaz, it was a bit different.
And I think like Diaz and Masvidal, maybe a little less for Masvidal, but like the BMF was their world championship. Like that was awesome for them.
That was the title
like
that
if
they were
Nate
going
or
to
Nick
fight
Diaz
for.
lost a fight, it wasn't because they really thought they lost the fight. They thought, time ran out, the referee, the guy just held on to me, whatever. So for them, it really made sense. With like Charles Oliveira, he loves having the BMF. It's awesome for him, but his goal is to get that championship belt back bad.
Yeah.
He's in the gym right now training, not to defend his BMF, but to figure out a way to get to Poirier back or Gaethje if he ends up
right.
That's where his mind is. It's just a different mind thing. It's not just to put on a fight for the fans.
Do you think that the BMF thing will change then? Do you think so Charles has it. I've seen some people already have the opinion like they're probably not going to let him defend it because of how he won it or what. I don't know. Like, what do you think in terms of the BMF belt as a prize?
I like it. If we all really like it, then we got to have one per weight class, I guess, or every
no. That's
one. Why are we doing 150? Why do we have 155?
I like that it's one. It was 170.
Yeah.
It took a couple years off, and they said, you know what? Gaethje and Poirier would be perfect for this. And the thing about it, in my opinion, at 155, there are more big stars than there are title fights available for them, right? Yeah. Or they have fought for the title. It didn't go their way, but they're still giant stars. Mm-hmm. They're still headlining fighters. In the pay-per-view era, they could sell pay-per-views. Now they can carry a numbered event, just like Charles and Max could absolutely carry a numbered event. That was a big deal for Paramount Plus, for CBS, all of it. Mm-hmm. And 155 has the longest list of names that can do that.
Yeah, because
Conor could fight for the BMF.
Why it's older guys that have been around for a while that fought either Conor or someone who fought Conor or someone with big names. And they had some fun fights, and now people want to see him fight regardless if it's for the belt, right? So then you could create a BMF belt. That's, I think, how it all originated. I think for BMF, you need like Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal was perfect.
Right.
I want to see a little gangsterness. I want to see like a little hood from each one of these guys, and who don't give a crap, fight. Like Fluffy comes in mind. He's not a guy a lot of people would think as a BMF when it comes to like standing and just trying to knock people out. But his attitude when you talk to him off camera, like he's got that hood in him. He's came from nothing. He
like a no frills, like I will fight. No frills.
Like
I'll
Chris
fight.
Weidman can't get it done. You're
too much. What you're saying is less athlete, more fighter.
You need more athlete, more fighter, less
more
athlete,
fighter, less athlete
for sure.
And it's a lot of athletes, especially
Max
at the top.
Holloway and Charles Oliveira. They're the cream of the crop as far as athleticism and MMA. They're just it needs to be like two guys that we know aren't going to be fighting for the belt. They're just not there, but they're so fun to watch and everybody loves them.
Yeah.
And they have a little.
And so you have to find a guy who is a big star to carry an event like that. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily in contention right now or will be anymore. The title,
like a
Michael Chandler.
He's just not hood enough.
He's not hood enough for you.
He's not hood enough for me. But yes, he is. He fights like a BMF.
I'll tell you. Like
even like Saint Denis.
Benoit Saint Denis, I've thought is like in line. You saying yes or no?
Very proper. I would let him slide only because he's a freaking special forces agent.
Right.
Like he's a badass. But
so here's the thought for me.
I don't like to see guys polished. I think I'm just ruined by Nate Diaz and Masvidal.
I see it like
they're not like super
more
polished.
More polish is kind of goes against what the BMF stands for.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone had to make a decision at some point. Like if you grew up in a tougher neighborhood, like I grew up in a decently tough neighborhood. At some point, I had to make the decision. All right, do I want to be successful or not? And so I changed my language. I try to talk better. Not that I'm there and I'm done caring, but I'm just saying, like I wanted to be a good human being. I'm not saying people who talk like that are not good human beings, but I just remember consciously making a decision.
What was it that made you make that decision, by the way?
Well, it was the kids I was hanging out with. The kids, that I was hanging out with started, selling drugs and doing drugs, and they were always stealing bikes and stuff, and I'd be with them, and I'm like, it was sports. Well, look at me. I'm wearing a freaking athletic jacket, hostile wrestling. But it's sports. So in middle school, going into high school is kind of when I made that change. I got into sports, so then I'm around athletes that are trying to they're trying to do better in school. They're trying to, they have a passion for sport. They're trying to stay on the right track.
If you mess around, you get in trouble, then you can't play.
Yes.
You can't play football.
So that changed that's what helped change me in the right direction. But everybody figures out on their own.
Last thing I'll say about the BMF and what I thought about, which kind of goes against your kind of champion or people gunning for championships. Mm-hmm. You know who the guy is? It's like the kid who's in trouble is Arman Sarukian. Like he's in trouble. Like he's messing around. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing. And like, doesn't that kind of symbolize how the BMF started, right? Like Nate Diaz, the antagonist, right? Masvidal was the street guy. And it's like, Arman Sarukian's the guy who's making the bad decisions, headbutting Dan Hooker at their stare down, getting into extracurricular at this wrestling thing or whatever. Now, I don't think they'll reward it, but generally speaking, in the fight game, we reward bad behavior. Is that not true?
He wore handcuffs, I think, to the fights, right? I saw
he wore handcuffs to the fights. Like he's being held out. Like his star is becoming bigger because of it. Do you agree?
Whoever his management team is, they're doing a great job. All the different shows and podcasts that he's been on. He was on my algorithm for like a month.
He's becoming a bigger star because of his lack of being booked for the title fight or for the big fights. More people are getting on his side. It's like when Joe Rogan was in that fluff with CNN and the pandemic and the whatever, and they were like trying to cancel him, and it was amazing for his show.
100%.
And so it's like when things like that happen, that is good for you as a fighter. That's attention.
Yes.
That's attention that's very tough to get by just competing in a fight. I
agree.
And so like Arman to me.
So you do Arman versus
Charles? I saw Arman Charles in a main event because they fought recently and Arman won, and it actually wasn't that compelling of a fight if I remember correctly. Like it was just, again, it was a lot of ground. It was like, oh, these two guys are like amazing and this will produce the next title challenger and whatever. And it was just like, Arman won, but it wasn't like edge of your seat type of win.
Yeah.
But it was 3 rounds. So now it's just like, well, put him 5 rounds, put him as a headliner. And then whether you attach the BMF belt to that or not, but it's one of those things. Arman is making these behavioral bad decisions outside of fighting.
I wouldn't be mad.
Kind of like makes him.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I could be sold on that. Yeah. I just don't know if that fight ends up being.
I don't know if that's what we're looking
fans,
for.
I don't know if.
Well, John Morgan asked Dana White after, is there an unwritten rule that you should kind of stand and bang and take some more chances, fight a little bit more recklessly? And Dana kind of didn't agree with it, right? He was like, Charles won the fight. He figured out how to win, and he was able to expose it, and he was able to win. But I was upset that he didn't point. He let him up and point to the ground with 5 seconds left. After all that control time, he said, all right, let's point to the ground. I'm there to bang whatever.
I asked him about that.
Do that with 15. What did he say?
I asked him about that, and I was like, did you have in the back of your head that you were going to do that the whole time? And he said no. I thought he definitely did it on purpose because out of nowhere, with 10 seconds left, is the first time Max Holloway gets back up to his feet.
Yeah.
He had to have been slowly deciding to let him up, even though he said he didn't. And then I go, but you pointed down. He goes, but he said it first. Like Max, I guess, gestured like let's fight, and then Charles did it. But there was only maybe
5 seconds
2 or
left
3
by the time they
swings in
really
there.
threw. Right.
Yeah, it wasn't enough time.
No,
but he did do it. He did point down, even though he didn't. He's up, even though he didn't have to. He was up 5 rounds. You know. Max is very tough in that position. Like even
he's like mastered how good it is. How good he is
you
at
think
it.
Like I don't care how tough you are, but just the haymakers, moving your head, connecting in those wild exchanges. I mean, we've seen him with Gaethje, obviously, but we've seen him there with who's the other guy, that kickboxing dude from years ago that he pointed down against?
Ricardo Lamas, right?
Lamas, yeah. Like he connects in there, man. He's accurate in those wild exchanges. Like Dustin, he's a fucking tough mother effer, and he backed out. He backed out of that and went to a takedown with 10 seconds left because he just felt you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Look how behind Gaethje was on those exchanges.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for every 3 or 4 Max Holloway monster swings, Gaethje maybe was trying to get landing maybe one. He was completely missing. Yeah. So he's extra dangerous there.
There's no clear cut BMF. What's next? Sarukian has been acting like the child that needs to be disciplined. Again.
But I don't know if Sarukian could actually. I don't know if he would fight for a BMF. I don't know if he. I think he just really wants to wait for the title shot.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, honestly, that's kind of metaphorically speaking in terms of the behavior that belies a BMF candidate is Arman Sarukian. But I don't think that that's necessarily what's going to happen. There's no clear what's next though for like Charles, for the BMF, for like. I don't know. You don't come out of that being like, oh, man, the BMF belt is still something. I can't wait for the next one or whatever, which unfortunately, it's just too bad. It's just an opportunity loss. Like I said, it was a big deal for Paramount. It was a big deal for CBS Sports. It's a big deal for the UFC. And then it just didn't pan out with like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe that happened. I can't miss one of these events going forward. You know?
I don't think I can argue with that.
Yeah. Any other takeaways from the weekend? We'll get into the White House thing in just a minute, but as far as fight-wise, like you talked to Gregory Rodriguez after,
a couple, to Kyle. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I was super impressed. What's that kid's name? Is Alberto Montez?
Yeah, Montez.
That guy Ricky Tercios is. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but
yeah,
he is not. He's not. I'm not saying he's great. He's not super athletic, but he's so awkward and very tough. Not a guy that you want to go into a fight against and.
It's tough to get out of there.
It's tough to get out of there. It's hard to make it look pretty. Sometimes when you have a really awkward fighter, you really want to show everybody how good you are. You want to show to yourself too. And a guy like that will just kind of stifle the prettiness of how good you are because they're just so awkward and they do things differently than everybody else. He came out looking like Ilia Topuria on the feet to me. Like I'm not saying as good, but his balance on the feet with boxing, the way he squats into a stance and has balance at all times on the feet, and then his jiu-jitsu game off the charts. That anaconda choke, which he kind of, I guess, spoke about in the fighter meeting, he's just very confident with it. He's a very dangerous guy. So that kid really sticks out to me as a star in the future. Obviously, Gregory Rodriguez, coming back after being knocked out in the first round by Bruno Ferreira.
Yeah.
For him to be able to come out and knock him out was a crazy knockout. Dober, losing the first round, that was a great knockout.
I was just talking about Drew Dober with somebody earlier today, and I said, maybe give Drew Dober a shot with the BMF. I mean, for God's sake. Now, I don't know if him and Oliveira, right? Oliveira has clear grappling advantages and stuff like that.
And way ahead of him in the rankings.
But, like, to your point earlier, like the BMF title, like Drew Dober would be so honored to be fighting for something like that, that he would go out there and swing crazy.
Who do you put against each other?
I don't know. But like
Michael Chandler and Drew Dober.
But like,
Chandler's
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. But he's not fighting for the title anytime soon.
Yeah,
give him a BMF opportunity. The guy had waited forever for Connor.
You need an A side. You need an A side that can main event and carry a numbered card. If they make it a numbered card, right? It's kind of a different set of circumstances under Paramount that it's not behind a paywall. So whatever they wanted to do, but like, yeah, Dober Chandler is like that type of matchup that you're talking about, where it's like. UFC championship, probably not in their future before it's all said and done. But man, wouldn't they be honored and like give the fans a show?
They both look like Captain America. They both look almost identical.
Yeah,
so it'd be pretty funny.
They're actually a little too
polished.
Like they fight like BMFs, but in terms of like they're like Drew's too nice to fight for.
You wouldn't think they're
BMF. You know what I mean?
They fight like BMFs. They're not.
They fight like
BMFs.
BMFs.
The category of gangsters, like I like to see, but
right.
I'll take it because they are going to swing for the fences every time.
In-fight gangster is the prerequisite number one.
Yes,
in-fight gangster behavior.
Yes,
which
if we could get gangster outside the cage,
Connor could fight for a BMF too, right? Like Connor's not close to fight for. Who knows what he's
have any
supposed to fight
record, at all? You're allowed to fight for the BMF as long as you fight like a BMF in the cage.
Yeah, for sure.
Record meaning criminal record.
Yeah. So good job, Drew Dober. Well, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of records.
Yeah.
Drew Dober.
Needs street cred.
I think it was his 11th lightweight UFC knockout, all-time leader. Like, you can market that. And the guy's been in fight of the nights, performance of the nights. Yeah,
this sport
he's
is
just one of
crazy.
those guys.
A guy like that really
he's
does
underappreciated
fight like that every time. Underappreciated because if you don't do it in the big fights, with the big names. If you're not like, look at the Dustin Poiriers of the world, even like Masvidal, Chandler. Like, how did these guys get so big? How do all these guys? How does everybody know them and love them so much?
Patty the Batty, same thing. Like when Patty entered the UFC, he was a giant star. It's just like he's a bigger star than the guy who has like 8 UFC knockouts. Type of thing.
Well, he talks a lot. I guess Chandler does too. Chandler, like the post-fight interview after he beat Hooker in his debut.
Oh,
that's what
he's
set him
amazing
off.
at that. Yeah, but he already had like more than 1 million Instagram followers. He was already a giant. Michael Chandler, I believe, had
when he was in Bellator coming over.
Yes.
Oh, he was already big like that?
He was already big like that. Yep.
Because he does a great job with fitness. So anybody who's into fitness online, they're like, oh,
he makes you feel bad. He gives you the goal body that you're never going to have.
Yes. He's always in great shape.
Just like, but man, I'll see you at the top otherwise.
Yes, absolutely.
There was something else I wanted to say about like the Dobers of the world and the BMF and how you're talking. Well, do you agree with this statement? So you're talking about Masvidal, how he got so big, and Nate Diaz, they got the biggest at the end. Okay? And I'm wondering from your perspective, because you achieved great success, UFC champion, and then you had a path down, right, where you're no longer fighting for championships, but you're still a big name. You're still in main events for a while. And people paid attention to whenever you fought, and then obviously the comeback from your leg injury. I was listening to an audiobook written by Tom Petty's lead guitarist. And he was talking about, wait for it, but he was talking about like the drummer was pissed off when Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were just starting because they're like, Tom's getting a disproportionate amount of money. We're a band. We're all in this together, whatever. And the manager, the record manager guy was just like, you make 90% of your money on the way down. Like, you guys are popular right now. Enjoy that. You'll climb. And if you can stick it together, you'll make 90% of your money on the way down when you're not really that popular anymore.
Yeah.
Is that something with fighters? Like, do you
that
make
didn't work with me, like you said. That didn't work. On my way down, I definitely didn't make as much money as I did on my way up because I was.
Or like when you're at the top is like, obviously you're making a lot of money.
On the way down for me, I'm making way more money than I ever thought I would even make in my life, prior to fighting, but it was way less than I was used to making. But I was also losing I was losing too many fights. When you have to win.
Right.
You have to win at some point,
Winning solves it all. Right, of course.
Yeah, winning is the number one prerequisite to becoming a star. So like we got a lot of guys who seem like they're, oh man, this guy's talking like he's Conor McGregor. He's 1-0, right now.
Yeah.
And they start focusing on their personality a little bit too much, and they stop winning. Nobody cares about how awesome your personality is anymore.
Well, personality, unless you're really going to go over the top with it, is not going to get you paid. Mm-hmm. It'll get you noticed, and maybe it gets you a lot more sponsorships, obviously. Like, it can get you paid in some of that, but if you don't follow through with results, then people will they'll get tired. They'll tire of your personality.
Yeah, you're just like a joke at that point.
And it doesn't turn
look at Josh
into
Hokett.
money.
That kid he's talking the talk and he's walking the walk. He looked great in his last fight. Maybe he's not the best guys yet, but now he's fighting Curtis Blades.
Dude, I thought, I should have vocalized this in specific terms, but like before Josh Hokett fought on the first Paramount card, I said the biggest early beneficiary of the Paramount really leaning into a cinematic kind of marketing, kind of character-driven storyline beyond just ESPN looking at it as the sport and the competition of it. I said Josh Hokett's going to benefit more than anybody else. Oh. Certainly on this first event, Josh Hokett's going to we'll remember if he wins and does what he does, then we'll remember it. Yeah. And like that's more than you can say because the other night, like I kind of remember all the results if I really like go through it, but I got to look them all up. But it's like you remember the specific moments, and Josh Hokett is good at number one winning the fight, but then having a moment that you remember, even if it's cringy and you hate it, you remember it.
Yes.
That's such a big thing.
How many guys are we talking about that early in their career right now?
Right.
Other than him.
And that's kind of the example for Masvidal and Chandler, like you were saying, is like, how did these guys get so big compared to Drew Dober? It's because they have moments that you remember very specifically.
The flying knockout over
Askren was really...
There was hatred before that fight. Everyone thought Askren's going to run right through him, take him down.
Yeah.
And
they had dinner the other night. Did you see that on Instagram?
That's super cool. I love
that. Was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I love that they did that.
Well, and you and Anderson Silva are going to hang out pretty soon, too.
Maybe in the boxing ring.
I know.
Who knows? But, it's funny how that works. Yeah, I had him on my podcast, my first episode when I started my podcast after I broke my leg. Mm-hmm. To just talk about the recovery and everything and like what that's like, and now being on the other side of it. It was a cool experience, and we stayed in touch over the years now since that. But it is cool when your old rivals you kind of just let things go, let your ego go, and actually just see him as a regular human being, and kind of create the friendship.
Yeah. Let's move on to this White House card, because really, I guess the thing that we're going to talk about more than anything else that happened on Saturday night was the announcement of Freedom 250.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Topuria versus Gaethje at the White House. Finally, we get it. It was fraught with rumors of who's going to fight and what's going to happen. Then on Friday, Dana says a fight just fell out. Everybody goes detective mode and looks at when Hunter was talking to Sean and Mick on the stage at ceremonial weigh-ins and saying, oh my gosh, here's their reaction, which Dana then says that's not what happened, that the fight fell out after that interaction that they had. There was also a report, because Dana spoke yesterday after the boxing event that was in Las Vegas, that it was going to be Makhachev versus Topuria, but it's Makhachev that fell out. Dana said that's BS, not correct. Do you think happened? I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I could give you my opinion, but
I mean, people are saying John Jones was obviously the fight that fell out.
Yes.
Now the rumors are swirling that Makhachev was the fight that fell out against Topuria, which I don't think that they would have made Topuria versus Makhachev as the main event on the White House lawn. I do think that but apparently Gaethje wasn't involved, and then Gaethje was involved, and I think Dana said that it wasn't supposed to be Topuria versus Gaethje, either of them.
Well, how about this? Let's say but the problem is this. So let's just say,
even if we knew, we can't spread the word. We can't be the ones that say it, right?
Yes.
We'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know either.
You don't.
This is all speculation.
From what I can understand, I was texting people. I was at home over the weekend. I wasn't in Vegas. I was texting one of our producers. I said, when are they going to announce the White House card? And he said, I don't even know. Like I said, when within the show are they going to announce it? He said, I don't even know. Everyone's being so secretive. So that's even like a high-ranking producer who was working in Las Vegas that weekend, and he didn't know where in the show.
I was with
at least as
Craig Borsari. Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
Who's like that?
He's like your boss other than Dana. So
yes, he's the man. That name. I was talking to him, and I'm never going to put someone in a position for them to say something that they feel uncomfortable with.
Right.
But he wasn't saying anything. He was basically saying, a lot of crap has gone on in the last 24 hours.
Wow. And, I'm sure the story will come out at some point, but so are you happy with it? Because I was surprised at the amount of online comment bully hate, if you want to call it hate. It hasn't been hate, but people have been saying mid, as the kids would say, or underwhelming. But I'm not underwhelmed, and I'm not mid. I think it's pretty awesome, honestly.
It's a little confusing, it's not what I expected. I didn't know if it was going to be all Americans, against a foreigner.
Yeah,
we have a couple fights.
Which
with
other than Pereira versus Gane, there's no American in there. But other than that, it is an American versus a non-American.
Yes. So the co-main event is the only one that's not American versus someone from a different country. I'm just like everybody else. I thought the rumors I thought Conor McGregor was definitely going to be on the card. I thought John Jones was definitely going to be on the card. Obviously, I'm completely crazy. Maybe
now,
it doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you, why did you think that? Because it seemed like it was trending away from Conor being at the White House.
I didn't believe it. I thought they were keeping it secret.
And then Dana repeatedly said Jones isn't fighting at the White House.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Did you just think they were pulling a fast
negotiations? They're trying to work out the money, and they're playing the game.
Obviously, you can't always take things at face value when there's negotiations going on or announcements going on or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I'm not looking at anybody like they're wrong for saying something because there's negotiations. It's like the president saying, what we're about to do to Iran, that's going to happen tomorrow. You can't say that today, because it's going to mess up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful. The public perception, and I think UFC is really smart with that. How they deal with negotiations using the public as kind of a tool sometimes. But yeah, so I thought,
So you really thought it was Jones?
I thought it was Jones Pereira,
right?
And then Conor. I don't know who you're going to put him against because I knew Chandler was off. I knew that wasn't happening. I believe
right.
I heard rumors of him against Carlos Prates.
Conor versus Prates, right.
But yeah, and like Hoofy against Chandler. I'm just looking at the card now, so now I'm scattering. Yeah. But Hoofy versus Chandler, like that's a tough fight for Chandler. So
really
you got an
tough
American,
fight for Chandler.
You got an American going out there against a really fucking tough guy.
Well,
but everyone
like,
loves Chandler even after losses anyway. He's lost a lot,
Of course, right. I'm surprised. I'm happy for Chandler because I knew that he desperately wanted to fight on it. He's the perfect candidate to fight on something like that. Fighting with the American flag really means something to Chandler.
Yes. So I like that.
So I'm happy for him on that. But I was surprised that he was going to be on it because, like you, was just like, well, Conor's not fighting Chandler.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, that's too bad for Chandler. He's not going to fight at the White House. And now it's just like, well, Conor's not going to fight at the White House.
Yeah.
Which those rumors started happening, and I really did start to believe that Conor wasn't going to fight at the White House. And
but did you think John Jones was going to fight at the White House?
No. I never bought into it. I wouldn't have been surprised.
Didn't think Pereira versus
Put
Jones?
it this way. If John Jones pops up on this screen, I'm looking at like the screenshot. If John Jones popped up on that screen, I would have been like shocked. I would have been, oh my God, they got him. I can't believe it. That to me was my mindset when they revealed the card. And we kind of already knew it was Pereira versus Gane because of that feature that ran right before it. But if we didn't know that, whatever, and then they popped up that card and it said Jones versus Pereira, I would have been like, oh my God, they got him.
And
I can't believe they made it happen.
Excited for the fight.
I would have been super happy and excited for it, but it would have been like of shock of like, wow, I can't believe they actually made it happen. Pereira versus Gane, I'm just like, yep, there you go, Pereira versus Gane. Like,
that's an interesting fight.
It makes sense.
The Bo Nickel versus Dacus fight is a little weird.
Yeah, and so I can't
What's your
release
thoughts on that?
Insight. So the first thing, I have a video of this, and I was going to put it on Instagram. I had video showing the screen of when they revealed the card, and you can hear my reaction to it sitting on the couch. And the first name I said out loud, I go, Kyle Dacus. Because I'm so excited, Chris, for Kyle Dacus, Steve Garcia, and Ayman Zahabi specifically. I know Zahabi's not American. But, like, guys that, like, fighter stories. Right? They can't all be Chris Weidmans who knocked out Anderson Silva, Cinderella story. He was undefeated. He was the champion. He was a huge underdog. Oh, my gosh. You had the story with your leg injury, and you came back from it. And, like, you were a big deal. And Michael Chandler's a big deal. And Justin Gaethje has become a big deal. Ilya Topuria is a big deal. But aren't you so satisfied, kind of like we were saying with Drew Dober, aren't you so satisfied that guys that try and train and hope just as hard to achieve fight game greatness, like Kyle Dacus, like Steve Garcia, like Ayman Zahabi, get to fight on this occasion?
100%.
Like,
I'm
always
happy for people with big
I'm just so happy for guys like that. And then for Garcia, like, he's been in main events. He's on a crazy winning streak, finish streak. Like, he deserves to be a star for how he fights.
Yeah.
And so, like, great. This will help launch him if he beats Diego Lopez. But he gets what a spotlight he gets. Now he gets the platform that he's been looking for. Kyle Dacus was cut from the UFC and, like, married and expecting his first baby. And it's just like, I remember seeing him online and I'm just like, man, Kyle Dacus, man, he's still chasing the dream. Like, he's still fighting at CFFC. That's a huge pay cut. He's still, like, hoping that he gets back to the UFC and makes some noise. And then he gets back and he finishes Michel Pereira in Shanghai. He finishes his opponent, I can't remember off the top of my head, in Madison Square Garden. And now all of a sudden he's on the White House and he's fighting a guy like Bo Nickel.
Gerald Mearshart.
Gerald Mearshart. And so, like, isn't that amazing for a guy like Kyle Dacus, a Philly kid who just didn't quit on himself, keeps trying hard, and now he gets to fight at the White House. So we're going to talk more about the stars. But that was my first reaction, was just like, these guys who grind just as hard, who aren't as big of names, I'm so happy that
I
they
love
get this
that you're
spotlight.
happy because we need people like you to
Thank
be
you,
happy
Chris.
for guys
Thank
like
you.
that for sure. So they appreciate it and I appreciate it. But does Ken Dawkins make it competitive with Bo Nickel, or is Bo Nickel just running through him?
Who
and
knows?
everyone's
We
like,
don't.
"Oh,
We
my
still don't
gosh,
know about
they
Bo
gave-
Nickel.
They gave Bo Nickel a can.
I think Dawkins is a tougher matchup than Rodolfo Vieira. And like the other tough matchup that Bo Nickel has had.
Paper, Rodolfo was, heavy-handed striker. And
He's
he
not
was
really
good
like
jiu-jitsu.
Rodolfo Vieira is like expert jiu-jitsu, like standout, but he's getting older, number one. And then number two, like he really has never been like, oh my God, look out, he can throw punches and he's got great jiu-jitsu. It's been like
He's jacked.
he's super jacked.
Yeah.
He's amazing at jiu-jitsu. He's got all like the jiu-jitsu records and credentials and stuff. But like Fluffy withstood the early storm, and then he came back against him when Rodolfo gassed.
Yeah.
So like I think Dawkins is a bigger test
Like a
than
tougher
Rodolfo Vieira was
guy.
against Bo Nickel. And then the other big test for Bo Nickel, he got knocked out in the second round by RDR. So, like, with Bo Nickel, the jury is still out. I like Bo. People think that when I said say hello to a real contender last year about Reinier de Ridder, that I was, like, hating on Bo. I was just like, and some people were just like, thank you for that. And I was just like, dude, I'm just calling the fight. Like, just encapsulating the moment for de Ridder, really celebrating the contender that he became with that performance.
He deserved it. He looked amazing.
But
beat
but
Will
I still
afterwards.
like Bo, and I still think his ceiling is super high, and love him or hate him, that's why he's on. People are like, why is he always on these big cards? Just like because people want to see how good he is. Number one, people that hate on him, that's a reaction. It's like the Howard Stern thing. If you love him, you listen. If you hate him, you still listen.
He's we very similar. We came from similar backgrounds. He was way more decorative a wrestler than me.
Right, but college wrestler to
College
MMA.
wrestler coming up, and with the same weight class. So, there was a lot of comparisons between me and him. And with me being compared to any wrestler or anybody, the fight game is just so tough. You never know. Like Aaron Pico, one of the best wrestlers coming out of high school, goes straight to fighting because he was an amateur boxing champion, Golden Glove champion as well, on top of being one of the best wrestlers in the whole country, if not the world. And he gets knocked out in his first fight because you just never know. Anything could happen in there, and then you don't know how people deal with it, afterwards and come back from losses and stuff. And it's not as clean cut as wrestling is. But I will say that kid is special. And the reason why the biggest takeaway I've ever got from him is not in any of his fights, not in his wrestling matches. It was a grappling match that he did with
Are you talking about Pico or Nickel?
I'm sorry, Bo Nickel.
Yeah, okay,
Sorry,
Bo Nickel.
we're back to Bo Nickel.
Yep.
So take away his fights, take away his NCAA career that I followed a lot and watched him.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of his wrestling skills. But what I was most impressed with Bo Nickel is in a jiu-jitsu match with Gordon Ryan, one of the greatest of all time in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting submitted in it. But for me, as an athlete and as a guy who's been around the block for a while, I've seen athleticism in him that you don't see come around very often. There was a position where Gordon Ryan threw up for a triangle choke, and Bo was on his knees. And the speed and strength, without really exerting or trying to win a competition doing this movement, from his knees to his feet, the speed that it took for him to get from his knees to his feet was like cat-like. And it was like he's a special athlete,
like so instinctive,
strong, just healthy knees, things like that. I noticed he's a really high level athlete for sure. And
like he doesn't get the credit for as athletic as he is even now.
like he's not big and strong.
Well, because fight fans don't know.
He looks small for the
even
weight.
me, I have to buy into what you're saying, and I've learned that to really listen to guys like you, Dean Thomas, DC. Like you guys speak in certain ways about certain fighters, where it's like, okay, like I don't see it yet because I'm a layman, right? Like I don't train. I wasn't a wrestler. Like I didn't box, all that stuff, and so like I remember. You're saying this. You're speaking about Bo Nickel the way that Dean Thomas used to speak about Ilya Topuria on his way up, where I'm just like, man, he's good, but I don't know how good he is. And Dean's like, he's freaking good, dude. Like, he's real good, good. And Dean would also say the same thing about Jack Della Maddalena. Just like, this kid's good. And you couldn't – a lot of times you couldn't tell how good they were. Even though they're winning, you always take into account like who they're fighting. Is this person really that like they might not be in the UFC that long? So he won in the first round, but he kind of should have done that. So like we'll see. And some people know what to look for, where they're just like, no, I already know.
And I'm not saying he's going to be world champion. He could be, though. I think he has the potential to be. But because you never know what happens in there. You know, it's a long 15, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And
well, I think a lot of fight fans that aren't as experienced as you in terms of wrestling training, being in the fight world, are underwhelmed by Bo Nickel. And you're saying, I have more respect than what he's shown, because of what I know he can do.
I know he definitely has high potential, and I think he's very mature mentally. You know, he does have a championship mindset. He knows.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Heading into fights, and he takes it. He learned a lot from Cael Sanderson, who I think is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Keeping things playful and just going out there and having fun. He's very inquisitive. I remember the first time I met him, and it was me in DC. We're on the show. This is his first UFC fight. We're doing the weigh-in show, and it's right after his first weigh-in in the UFC. And so we're asking him questions, and I think it was before our first question, he goes, before you guys ask me a question, can I ask you guys a question? And he asked us like how we dealt with the nerves and stuff and everything before a fight versus having.
Was this on the air? He did that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
As opposed to like a wrestling match.
Right.
And so we got to, you know, he put us right into helping him. It wasn't like he's coming and thinking he knows everything, right? He was very open-minded. And I think someone who's open-minded is a very dangerous person who doesn't think they already know it all.
Yep.
And he has that.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't react emotionally towards the reactions to him.
Yes.
Which is saying a lot for somebody in their 20s.
Yes.
That's
he's already got a lot of experience of dealing with it, especially after that DeRitter fight. You know, he's got a lot of hate. You know, that's tough to deal with. You need thick skin.
Yep.
You need to really know who you are and be comfortable with who you are. So he's getting a lot of experience quick.
So White House card. So I think it's awesome. People are like, oh, you're just saying that. I think it's awesome, man. I really do. Ilya Topuria against Justin Gaethje is a wonderful matchup.
Because Gaethje, you could go down the list, and I'll just throw some tidbits.
Okay.
But Gaethje has the opportunity to shock the world.
Yes, he does. He's a big underdog. I think he's like a plus 400.
So that makes it fun. That makes that fight fun because Ilya's got him beat everywhere. You know,
and you figure that's going to be a BMF style fight.
Yes.
Like if you talk about stand and bang and like gangster style fight, like Gaethje's not going to go out there and be safe.
Someone's probably getting knocked out.
Yes. And so I've always said about Justin Gaethje, I said he's not a household name, but he should be. Because he hasn't been certainly like a crossover name, right? Like he never became Brock, Ronda, Conor. He didn't enter that stratosphere. Maybe now he is, like, even though he's probably somewhat close to the end. But based on how we beat Patty, that was awesome. I'd love for Gaethje to fight Conor at some point before it's all said and done. And now he gets to fight at the White House. He got to start the Paramount deal. It's just like, okay, maybe he hasn't become that crossover superstar yet to those levels, but like, man, he's the main event at the White House.
It's tough because I think you have to be a champ. I think you have to be the champion to cross over. Like, who has crossed over without being a champion?
Right.
Like Conor was a champion. You know, that really is probably what crossed him over. But
in the way that he won the championship, too,
I think he's as big of a star as you could get without, quote unquote, saying that he's crossed over into like mainstream,
right?
Doing Good Morning America and stuff.
Yeah, he's not on Jimmy Fallon, right? But maybe he will be. Maybe he will be.
If Senko could go on the Drew Barrymore show, can we get Gaethje on something?
Network TV. There's a lot of crossover. Yeah. Okay, Pereira versus Gane, the only fight not featuring an American, interim title fight. Some people have an issue with Gane being rewarded essentially for the foul that he committed that keeps Tom Aspinall on the sidelines. But nonetheless, Alex Pereira has a chance to become a 3-division champion.
It's an intriguing fight because he's going up like against John Jones. It was a nightmare matchup for him in some respects, but also it was more of a chance of like being able to dominate on the feet if he can stop takedowns. Mm-hmm. Gane is just such an athletic monster. He's 6'4", he moves like a cat. He's in and out. He's very hard to track down. When he does hit, it's a real big problem. Yeah. So that's a scary fight for Pereira to go up to heavyweight for.
Yeah. At least though, you figure it's going to be on the feet. Like Gon's probably not going to become a wrestler.
Yeah, I don't think.
Although he does have submissions, but he's probably not going to become a wrestler.
No, he's not coming. He's going to try to pick up. He's going to try to pick apart Pereira, and Pereira's going to have to try to walk through those shots and land something of his own.
Yeah. Here's the surprise for me. Sean O'Malley, I wasn't shocked to be on the card. And like I said before, I'm happy for Eamon Zahabi, but I thought this might be the occasion we get Sean O'Malley against Corey Sandhagen, but it's O'Malley against Zahabi.
Yeah, I would. Yes.
Still
Corey
a good
Sandhagen
fight.
Cool.
Still a good fight. It's U.S. versus Canada. Based on what we saw with hockey, politically, there's a little intrigue there for U.S. versus Canada.
I think it's an opportunity for O'Malley to show out. Zahabi's on like a 7-fight win streak or something,
Yes.
But he's very well rounded. He's experienced, but he's older. I think he's got to be like 36 or 37.
Yeah, Zahabi's late 30s.
So he's trending in a really good spot right now, older in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But O'Malley, this is like he's just very explosive, very good on the feet. Zahabi's not like super strong, very good. He's not like attacking with wrestling like a Marab or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's explosive as the last guy O'Malley fought. What's his name?
Song Yadong.
Song Yadong. So this is an opportunity for O'Malley to become the star that I think the UFC really knows that he could become. He's a star, but he lost his belt. But this would be a resurgence.
Yeah, sure. It's obviously
big opportunity.
A big occasion, big setting to fight on for sure.
Yep.
We talked about Hoofy versus Chandler. Tough fight for Chandler. Tough fight for Chandler because it's Chandler. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting though because Hoofy we've seen slow down before, right? We've seen little chinks in the armor. Maybe he's not as tough, or the heart is like almost like a Charles Oliveira. Maybe his heart isn't in it, so he's turned the tide on that in the last fight. But it's still going to be something that Chandler is probably really focused on. You want to look at the negatives, right? And you want to just make those the main thing that you're trying to go after. Any type of weakness you've seen. So it's going to be interesting. But Hoofy is just such an athletic, amazing striker. And then life is good for Diego Lopez, is it not? And I love. I want to bring this up. I want to bring this up. I saw on Instagram you played blackjack with Diego Lopez.
Yes.
First of all, did you guys end up all right?
No, we both lost. But let me tell you, because I kind of play like an animal on the blackjack table.
Yeah, I know it's a hell of a time.
Like, you could tell a lot about a person by the way they fight.
Yeah,
Diego Lopez fights the way he plays blackjack the way he fights. If he loses if he decides I'm putting $1,000 out there, this is a big hand, and he loses, it's not like okay now I'm going back to 100. No, I'm doing 2,000. You get hit with a big shot, you just keep coming forward. He did not stop, bro. He's a freaking savage. He was betting more than me a lot of the times.
Wow.
He was going hard, and we had a great time. It's just so funny. He was doing things
Where
that we
was
never
that?
do
Where
either,
was that?
and he
was that at
he didn't give a
Fountain
shit.
Blue?
This was at Durango. It was at the Durango.
Okay. Oh,
so like typically most people know, like if you have a 14 and they have a 16, if you have a 4 and they you have a 14 and they have a 6 showing, you don't hit, right? You're hoping that the guy freaking busts.
Right.
He's supposed
Let
to bust.
the dealer do their
part.
thing.
He'd be like, hit. And then I'd be like, you know what you're doing, right? He's like, yeah, I feel good. And then he'd like, get close to a 20 or something. And then we end up all winning. I'm like, I love that you're doing that. He didn't give a crap like if he's ruining for the table. He knew he was just going to do what he wants to do, and it was be aggressive. He was going in with his instinct. It was fun. It was cool. He's a cool dude. It was fun hanging out with him.
Diego's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I really like him. I'm glad he's fighting on a big stage against Steve. That's a great fight, by the way. That's like an amazing piece of matchmaking, and I love that he plays blackjack like that.
Oh, he's a savage. He is a savage. He was at another table and he came over to play with us, and Helly was playing with us.
I saw.
Helly's doing the $100 hands because that's the minimum, and we're going nuts. And I couldn't believe him. Like this dude, I was like, you better be smart with your money. Because he's young.
Diego?
Yeah, Diego.
Yeah,
he's out of his mind.
Yeah, you haven't fought that long in the UFC yet.
Yes,
so it's like, take
care
care of it.
But he's not married. He's got no kids. He's got no wife. Like I would be out of my mind if I was him. So I get where he's at. He's doing good though. He wasn't drinking or anything. He's taking his career serious.
Hey, good. Well, we'll see him at the White House Open in the card. We'll see how it's in his bank account before that. If he spends a lot more time.
That's one
in
guy
Las
you don't have
Vegas.
to worry about being in a boring fight.
That's what I mean. Like,
because even if it's grappling, remember his first fight. I told him this too. I mean, I know we got to go here soon, but
no, go ahead.
When I saw him fight Evloev on short notice, and the amount of submission attempts and just the confidence he had in everything he was doing, knowing he was taking the fight on like 2 days notice or something.
Yeah.
Against now one of the best guys in that division, Vloev, that was just a telltale sign of this guy's going to be like a star in the making. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. Last thing, we got Kevin Vachejos against Josh Emmett. I just want a quick thought on Josh Emmett's 41 years old, just turned 41. Kevin Vachejos is 24. Do you have experience on either side of this equation when there's such a big age gap? Like when you were young fighting somebody much older, or at the end of your career? I don't think you fought you fought Brad Tavares when you came back. Like,
no,
I don't recall.
Nothing crazy.
But this to me is a very interesting style matchup, which we see it sometimes, but rarely in a main event. And I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on this style matchup?
Well, it's like experience versus inexperience. It's like confidence, or like sometimes it could be considered overconfidence, but just like extreme self-belief when you're a guy like Vallejo. Is it Vallejos? Is that how you say it?
Vachejos.
Vachejos.
If you want to get down to it, yeah.
Vachejos. He's on a 4-fight knockout streak, I think.
He just beat Giga Chikadze.
Yeah.
This is a step up as far as a main event, but I think he's probably a pretty big betting favorite. Like, they think highly of Kevin Vachejos for good reason.
Yeah, and he's more of a stand-up fighter, right?
Yes.
So it's interesting because Emmett was one of the most feared guys in this division for years because of his power in his hands. But one thing I could tell you, like, as you get experience, you get better. As you get older, you do get better technically. You understand the game more than ever. But what happens is when you're in your 40s or high 30s, like, you're so smart and you understand the game so much that when you're in there, like, the things that you just would do because there was no fear or no consequences in your mind, now you start hesitating. So, like, if a guy was coming in on me and he's coming in fast, like, when you're young, you're just dropping in the right hand. You don't think about it. You're making him pay for encroaching into your space. As you get older, you start throwing your right hand. You're like, oh, wait, if I throw this right hand right now, there's a possibility that it hits me with that check hook. So you're like pausing and you're hesitating. You almost start thinking a little bit too much the more experience you get, as opposed to a younger fighter. He's just fucking going. He's just going. Now, they put themselves in some bad positions. They do some stupid things, and they learn over time. But sometimes being that younger fighter who just is not worried about different things because he doesn't have the experience, he hasn't been, rocked by that left hook coming in with that right hand that often.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. That's one thing I look at now with these older guys because I felt it when I was in there. Mm-hmm. Like when you spar, you're doing everything. You're not thinking about too much. When you get in there, you realize the consequences of every action that you make, and one mistake is all it takes. So you'll see these guys kind of hesitate on things that they usually wouldn't hesitate on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know Josh Emmett. I'm trying to think. I know he fought Lerone Murphy. Did he fight? Oh, he fought Yusuf Zalal, and Zalal tapped him out pretty quick.
Armbar.
But so that was like super quick. That was his last outing in October. But I remember when he fought Lerone Murphy in the main event at the Apex this time last year, April of last year, and he was like really going and looking for Lerone. And so I think Josh will be happy that he's not going to have to go looking for Kevin Vachejos. Like, Vachejos is going to bring it to him, and Josh is probably going to have some chances to land that power, but he's a big underdog. Vachejos is a minus 500 favorite. Or thereabouts. A little bit north of minus 500.
I got to honestly watch some of Vachejos.
Vachejos, yeah.
I got to watch.
He's good, man.
Stuff.
He's really good.
Yeah, I know he's from Argentina. That's pretty cool. They got a good guy from there.
Yeah. Really impressive. Well, awesome, man. Why don't we wrap it up here, Chris?
How do we do that?
Well, so, of course I was like, let's go 40 minutes, and we went an hour.
Yeah.
So good job, us.
Yeah, let's go.
But I thought it was compelling conversation.
I agree.
I'm going to go with the Fitz and Weidman Show, Episode 1.
I like it.
If anybody wants to drop comments on a better name, please do so. And we'll see how many episodes of this here experiment that we get out of it.
I love it.
Does that sound all right?
Hopefully there's just like tons of comments and people happen to watch it and they like it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I said worst case scenario, we get to catch up virtually. Best case scenario, we become one of those podcasts that changes the world.
Bro, we might change the world. Let's change the world. Positivity, infinity, baby.
God willing.
God willing.
God willing.
Yes.
Awesome, Chris. Good to chat with you, man. We'll see what happens.
Yes, absolutely, man. Thank you.